Reanna Freeman's with me now, our Western Eyre Netball correspondent, and we're chatting all things Western Eyre Netball, of course. Reanna, thanks for joining us again.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. And out of the regular swing of things over the weekend, I understand, into the inter-association competitions.
Yeah, that's right. So Western Eyre headed up to Woodner. Western Eyre taking on Eastern Eyre, both football and netball. Was a fabulous day. Sun was shining, beautiful day for netball, and plenty of people around to watch.
Very good, yeah, perfect day for it. And it's always good to get out of the swing of your sort of regular programming and get into something a little bit different. How was the weekend for the Western Eyre girls?
Yeah, look, not super successful across the board for the Western Eyre girls. Probably showed our lack of experience sort of being on the edge of the competition out west, not always having lots of people to pull from and, you know, different people to come in and teach and whatnot. But I think the girls should be really happy with what they did and at least give us a starting point and something to work on. In the under-13s team 2, our biggest margin of the day, Eastern Eyre far too strong, so these girls quite young and for a majority of them their first time playing in an association or anything outside of club netball. Eastern Eyre 75 to Western Eyre's 1 goal. So the girls were happy to get their one, obviously disappointed that they didn't do any better, but they will try and rectify that come the Lock Carnival in a couple of weeks. And then the under-13 team 1, they've got a few more goals on the scorecard. Western Eyre had 10 to Eastern Eyre's 46. And then in the under-15s team 2, this was actually quite a good game. I sat down and watched this one. Western Eyre 26 to Eastern Eyre's 33, so only a 7-goal margin. I think Western Eyre were up sort of in the first half and was actually a really tight match for the rest of the half. Quite a good match up down the court. Girls tried their little hearts out. A few goals didn't sink, which sort of turned the tides for them, but a 7-goal loss either way. And then in the under-15s team 1, also watched this one because I've got a daughter playing. Western Eyre had a loss of 6. Eastern Eyre 40 to Western Eyre's 34. Again, this was actually another really good game. Lots of positional changes for Western Eyre as they've got an extensive lineup on the bench, which was also great to see girls playing in different positions and different combinations. Disappointed with their 6-goal loss because I believe they were up early in the game as well. But again, they've had a couple of trainings since and hope to go one better come the Lock Carnival. And then we had the under-17s team. We've got some really promising players in this team. I think it was just a lack of connection and not playing together for these girls. Western Eyre were 24 to Eastern Eyre's 80, so a 56-goal win. Eastern Eyre looks fabulous in this grade. They've got those young girls up and running, and majority of them would be playing senior netball. And then in the B grade, Western Eyre taking on Eastern Eyre. This was actually a really good game. Pretty close throughout the whole game. In the last half, sort of Western Eyre got on top and sort of just reached out and got that lead that little bit further. So it was Western Eyre 47 to Eastern Eyre 34. So a 13-goal win for Western Eyre. A really good game here. I think Rochelle Wheaton played really well in goals. One person who I thought was really keen to see, haven't seen her play for a year or two, and that was Nakia Skinner. So she plays for Westies in their A grade. I thought she was beautiful in that mid-court, fed the ball really well, found the space, did a brilliant job, and the best on the court for this game was Chloe Ettridge, who I think I've mentioned her every week for Westies. She's their goal defence, just going from strength to strength, and in this association game she definitely put her best foot forward and made it very hectic for the Eastern Eyre girls to try and get a ball in. She was all over the court, read the ball beautifully, and without a doubt the best player for that day. So girls really happy with that 13-goal win. And then final match of the day was the A grade. Western Eyre 47 to Eastern Eyre's 59, so a 12-goal loss for the girls. Trying a few different combinations, a few mix-ups throughout the day. Sophie Kellett sort of started in wing attack and ended in goals. She's a beautiful feeder at both goal attack and wing attack. She played a really good game. Durrani had a half with Emma Willis, which is a new combination. Those girls did really well. And then Alana Cotton started in centre and finished in goal defence, and she played a beautiful defensive game. Definitely seen a few areas that we need to work on as an association in the A grade, but we will hit the court training and a bit like all the other teams, try and rectify that scoreline come the Lock Carnival in a couple of weeks' time.
Very comprehensive wrap there, Reanna. Thank you for that. And most importantly, did the girls all have a good day and have a lot of fun?
They did, absolutely. I think it's a really good opportunity for the girls to build friendships with other players within our association. And a shout out to all the coaches, umpires, all the people that score. A lot goes in. You know, some people see it as a weekend off, but then you've got those people that show up week in, week out and volunteer their time. So thank you to everyone involved. And I think you're right, it's never nice to lose, but sometimes it's out of your control. It builds a bit of resilience and just makes you want to go build bigger and better for next time.
Yeah, definitely. So sounds like despite the results, it was a good weekend all in all anyway, and I'm sure you'll be looking forward to the next one. And back to regular programming this weekend with round 4 coming up in the Western Eyre Netball Association. So obviously just the 2 games, and it's Wirrallah taking on the Ceduna Blues in our first game. So Wirrallah sitting top of the table, Ceduna sitting last looking for their first win. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, look, I think Wirrallah would go into it favourites. They have got some really good combinations, and the couple of girls that they've got into the team this year are settling really well. Hayley Webb is playing beautiful defence. Played in the A grade on the weekend in the association game, and it was a huge asset. Emma Willis is always great in the goal ring, and then the couple of pickups. Bella Heron, when they played Hawks, I thought played really well in goalkeeper. So their side looking really good. We've got Hayley Clayton and Talene Ettridge who play a bit of defence for Blues, both really good defenders. It'll be interesting to see Talene, how she matches up on Emma. Both are quite tall players. Talene played on the weekend. It's sort of the first time I'd seen her play. Quite tall and lanky, but with lots of skill and a good reach. So I think that'll be a really good matchup. I reckon Wirrallah would go in favourites, and I haven't actually played Blues yet this season, so yet to see them on the court. So I think only seeing Wirrallah and them sitting top of the table, I would have to tip Wirrallah for this one.
In our other game, Western United Tigers sitting at 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw, taking on Thevenard, who are also undefeated.
That's right. So Thevenard only just missed out on making the grand final last year and sort of come out firing this year. They're ready to rectify any of those mistakes and come out on top, and they're most certainly hitting the track in their best form. Lindsay Denton and Nikki Sleep both were a defensive duo in our A grade on the weekend. And look, these girls, I think you could put a blindfold on them and they'd still know where each other are. They're a really good combination. They connect really well. They're certainly going to make it hard for Westie's goalies. Durrani Hoffrichter both plays goal shooter and goal attack. Not really sure how Westies are going to line up. They've been hit with a few injuries and a few girls out sick and whatnot. So I don't think they're even really sure how they'll line up come Saturday morning. But one thing I do know is these girls are really hungry for a win. They've had that win, they've had a loss, and as you said, they've had the draw. So they'll be really keen to take everything they can to come up against Stevie. I think being the fact that Westies don't really know how they're going to line up and what they've got to put on the court, that gives Stevie a bit of an advantage. So you would think Stevie would go in favourites, but Westies with a full team, I think, are capable of anything.
And Hawks with the bye this weekend, so a bit of an extended break for them after the inter-association last weekend. And we'll just take a quick look at the B grade as well. So starting in the B grade this weekend, we've got Wirrallah taking on the Blues.
Yeah, so I haven't seen too much of the B grade this year. I think that things are really quite unsettled across the board, across all clubs in the association. Lots of people have been away in injuries. So what happens there is A grade, in the A grade, they're pulling from the B grade. So a lot of B grade coaches that I've spoken to are wishing that the A grade would have a full team so the B grade could get their sort of sides sorted out. So I don't think too many of the B grade sides across the association have played with full teams, so a bit hard to know where everyone sits. But Wirrallah are sitting third on the ladder, Blues are sitting fifth. Wirrallah with the 2 wins, Blues with only the 1. So I reckon Wirrallah would go in favourites for this one.
And the Hawks are searching for their first win when they take on Canibba this weekend.
That's right. So Canibba without an A grade. So they've got all their girls in the B grade. A few young girls in this side. Melina is a fabulous player, played in the 17s on the weekend. Really excited to see how she lines up in this senior grade. Hawks without a win and also without a team most of the time, as the A grade have sort of taken what they can whenever they can, with injuries and people being away. So I think the Hawks coach, Carly Wolford, is pretty excited to have a full team this week. They've got a good side when they're a full side, and I think it will just come down to connections. Canibba are nothing to take lightly, but I think I'm a Hawks girl, so I'm going to tip the Hawks, although they are yet to get a win.
And technically a top-of-the-table clash here in our last game with Western United Tigers taking on Thevenard, first and second, but top 4 teams out of 6 all sitting on 2 wins and 1 loss. So very tight all over the competition. Who do you see staying on top of the ladder?
Yeah, look, Westies have got some brilliant plays in their B grade, as to Thevenard. When we played Westies in the A grade, as they were short, they pulled a couple up from their B grade, and I think that's really going to be an asset to these girls when they go back down to B grade, getting pushed that little bit more, whereas Stevie have sort of had a full lineup every week. So I think Westies A grade having a few out are going to pull a few from their B grade, so that might leave them with a few holes, which might see Thevenard get over the line. So I reckon Thevenard might come out on top on this one.
Plenty happening all over the association this weekend. Reanna, enjoy the netball. Thank you for joining us as always, and good luck to your Hawks.
No worries. Thank you for having me, and look forward to talk netball next weekend.